what's the necklace that you have?
Oh, my pendant. Yeah. So this is a pendant that I got. I know you went to Witcherama a few times, so I got it at Witcherama. A friend of mine gave this to me.
Now that's part of your persona, isn't it? That's a wolf.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was gifted this by my friend, I'm sure you remember him, Jesus, friend of
Oh
Paul's.
yeah. How's he
Yeah.
doing, by the way?
He's doing good. He's doing good.
Yeah.
He's in a relationship now, so
Okay.
he's doing good.
Been a while since I've seen him.
Paul or Jesus?
Well, both. But
Both?
I met Jesus though.
Oh yeah. It's been a while since. For Jesus, yeah, we kind of just see him on and off, but
Okay.
he's doing good.
Good.
He's in a really good relationship with somebody that I know too as well, and
Oh.
also a furry himself.
Oh, that's
so,
awesome.
yeah, so the furry community, believe it or not, is pretty huge. It's getting bigger at this point.
No, I believe it. Believe me. Like I've been around furry world and I've seen that it's big.
Yeah, like honestly, like I feel like every furry that pops up is like, I feel like they're just more prominent here in Illinois or in the Midwest in general, because it's like you kind of see like, people from like the furry fandom, like they used to be like in the West Coast, for example. And then all of a sudden, like, they're just like, hi, I'm here in Illinois now. I moved to Rogers Park. So
Right.
everybody just kind of congregates at Rogers Park or Boys Town, which is an awesome spot too, if I say so myself. So
Well, I think that's definitely part of it, but I think another part of it is that because furry culture has been so predominant in like the media
yeah,
the past like several years, like furries in the Midwest are able to come out more.
yeah.
Like the large furry convention in LA.
So there is conventions in LA, like Further Confusion, for example. But if we're talking like the biggest, right here in the state of Illinois, it's called Midwest Fur Fest.
Oh,
We currently still have, as far as I believe, it kind of goes up and down. It competes with, I'm not sure if you heard of Anthrocon. It's up in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So they kind of go head and head with attendance sometimes. So you'll see Anthrocon being the first, but really, like, since 2017, Midwest Fur Fest has taken the crown for being the biggest in
I
the
didn't know
country.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was there with my buddy Rob, who's here. I was there this past December, Rob. Yeah, we were there this past December.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we saw Paul there.
Yeah. No, we were all hanging around there, and
Wait, did I see you or no? I don't remember.
it was a pretty big it had a lot of attendees, so I either could have seen you in passing for a brief moment, or because like
I'm sure we.
I'm sure we bumped into each other.
Yeah.
But what'd you think of your first time there?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Like it was. How do I put this? It's what I expected, because I expected there to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, they're furries in the Midwest, man. Like they're hardcore.
Yeah.
They're dedicated.
Like they're not afraid to be themselves.
No.
Like, like some people will call them weird. I mean, there are also, I want to specify, there are weird people. Like, 'cause, like in everything, like, like as far as like comic conventions are concerned, or anime conventions are concerned, not to, deal with people that are like weird, like, that are like creeps or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, we make sure to like excommunicate them. Like, if we find out, let's say, somebody's like doing some, shady stuff,
Yeah.
we make sure that they don't come near like any like meets or any conventions, because like we obviously it has to have solid evidence first, but
Right.
like we just make sure that like we handle it properly. Like we don't want to deal with somebody who's done some shady shit. I want to be sure to differentiate like weird and weird. Like, so my definition of weird is like you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of people, throughout the years, like in the media, they would say, they would kind of conglomerate like the whole fandom as like being like, weirdos, like just creepy and whatnot like that.
Like you don't want your kids.
Yeah,
around
like
them.
that, or like, pull up a CSI episode, something like
Yeah.
that. When in reality, it's not the whole fandom though.
Hmm.
Like I said, like you're gonna like every fandom is going to have some weird people like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, when we find out those weirdos that we come across and they've had like a history or have like a track record of that, we make sure to not only keep the community safe, but we make sure to look out for everybody because the last thing we want is somebody to come in and people are gonna yet assume like, oh, we're so welcoming to a fault, like
Yeah.
because I've seen firsthand, I have seen certain things in the fandom, like they would like somebody would host a meet, and they would be too opening to a point where they're like actually bringing in like people or whatnot, and it's
Yeah.
like yeah, like we want to be welcoming, but it's like you can't just bring in people who actually are like hateful towards people or
Hmm.
like are just gonna bring harm to people.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, or differentiate, weird and weird. Like for my weird, it's like, who cares if somebody's like, oh, you have a werewolf suit, you're like, what's wrong with you? Like, why do you like being a wolf? And I'm just like, well, I like being a wolf because why not?
You
Like
mentioned coming into like the furry fan. I just think that's so funny. The
I know it
idea,
is. It really
the
is,
idea of
honestly.
somebody who's like a sympathizer joining, like becoming a furry or something.
Yeah, it's it is
I've
pretty.
seen pictures like that though online where
Yeah,
like somebody's dressed in their fursuit and they have like a
yeah,
on
or
their
it.
wristband.
Yeah, or it's
Not
like
wristband.
yeah, they're called
Yeah.
they're called furry raiders, and they're supposed to be like this hate group, but in reality, honestly, they're just like a bunch of like jokes basically, because
Yeah.
it's like how are you gonna be in a community where it's all welcoming
Right. That's what I was
when
saying.
it's
Yeah.
like that totally defeats the purpose of being a welcoming community.
Do they call themselves raiders or is
Yeah, like that's what they call themselves, yeah.
okay?
And I highly advise stay away from them because they're no good. Like they're literally like out here like trying to be like, "Oh yeah, we're supposed to be the furry fandom and all," when it's like they're really just like a bunch of racist people too, and like they want to exclude like people like me. I'm I'm a Mexican,
Hmm.
and like they want to try to exclude Mexican or black people or whoever, and it's like I got a fun fact for you. The furry fandom, when it was made in 1975, it was made by a black person named Ken Cougar.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
in case y'all don't, for the audience that doesn't know about the furry fandom, black person named Ken Cougar, look him up. Phenomenal person. He was the one kind of that coined, the furry fandom as we know as a whole. So,
And what was his persona?
uh, a cougar,
Fursona.
a cougar.
Okay.
Yeah, like a cougar, anthropomorphic cougar. He's not really, as far as I know, he's not really in the scene like that as much as he used to be, like in 80s and
Oh, he's
90s.
still alive?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure what he's doing these days, but he's mostly prominent for like being a micro furry artist. And what
Okay.
that means is basically like, drawing like anthropomorphic creatures being like super like, like
Yeah. Yeah.
kaiju
Yeah.
sized.
Like Godzilla and
Yeah,
stuff.
like
Yeah.
Godzilla, like
Yeah.
basically like that's what the art like he
Okay.
has. So it's pretty good art, pretty solid art. He's made a few comics too. So
Do you know where he's based out of?
um that I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure. I want to say maybe the East Coast because I mean that's kind of where the furry fandom kind of popped up. It's
Yeah.
like on the East Coast.
Okay.
So I want to say East Coast. I'm just not 100% sure, so I don't want to like.
I'm gonna look into that. That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Is it?
You said 1975.
Yeah, that's when like the furry fandom itself kind of really like jumped. Like it was like basically it was like I'm sure you're familiar with Star Trek.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
basically it was like a bunch of Star Trekkies coming together and be like, we want to do something more, like we want to, actually like bring in like our imaginations more, and like it would be cool to have our own character be involved in like sci-fi, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. And that's, and I'd like to think that, though it says, the date that's when the furry fandom started, I'd like to think that we're kind of surrounded by a lot of anthropomorphic things. Because if you want to take a look back at like the beginning of time, like when, like cavemen did their depictions of like, say like, anthropomorphic creatures on there, you'll see like a lot of anthropomorphic art everywhere.
Yeah. I just watched a UFO documentary, and it was looking at the idea of ancient aliens, the idea that aliens visited Earth, in prehistory, and you see evidence of that on cave walls, and but yeah, perhaps ancient man wasn't depicting aliens, but actually depicting just like anthropomorphic, beings. Like one of the examples that they gave was like a mantis that looked like a man.
Oh yeah.
So it could have been somebody that was just like an ancient furry.
Yeah, an ancient furry. I mean, like the ancient furry fandom.
Yeah. Ancient furries.
Ancient furries. I mean, yeah. I mean,
the
cavemen had their fursuits,
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. No, but it really is honestly fascinating because again, like we see it a lot in like the biggest example being Disney. I mean, you see a lot of anthropomorphic like made films, like Robin Hood, or the main character's Robin Hood, but he's a fox.
Yeah.
And his sidekick is a big bear. So it really just like shows how much like the furry fandom itself has kind of been around.
Right.
Like people are like, oh, now it's mainstream. I'd like to think it's always been for everybody.
Sure.
So, yeah. So,
and, to your point, like I don't even think it's a modern invention.
Right.
I mean, look at throughout. Well, I would say the modern part of it is the cutesiness of it, because if you go back to like the Vikings, you had the berserkers, which they put on bear suits to go out into war, and it was the idea that one, you're trying to scare your opponent, right? Yeah. But also that they believe that they're taking on the persona of the bear, the animal characteristics of the bear when they go out to war.
Yeah, like basically like carrying the spirit of the bear, or having like being battle ready and being feral on the battleground, basically. So.
And that's why I'm wearing little bears on my shirt.
Oh, nice.
I got little. That's if I was a furry, that would be my.
That'd be persona.
I'd be a bear.
Would if you don't mind, I ask, like, if you wanted to give your persona a name, because like my character's name is Red. Like, what would your character be like? Would you like, give it like.
Oh, Bob.
Bob? Bob the Bear?
Bob the Bear.
Hey, what's up, Bob the Bear?
Yeah,
I'm Red. It's good to meet you.
But your persona is Red?
Yeah. That's my character name. His name is Red.
Okay.
I made the character... I drew it out, like, the idea of him, like, when I was in high school. There was this one point where... lunch came around and, I was like, all right, I'm done eating now. And there's still like 15 minutes left of lunch period. So I'm like, why don't I take this time and just like draw something? So I got my phone, and I don't know how familiar you are with the program called PixArt. I don't know if they have this addition to the app anymore, but basically like they had like an option where you can pull up like a blank screen, and you could just like actually like draw like whatever you wanted. I used my finger, so of course I didn't like have a fancy pen or anything like that. But I was like, all right, what comes to my head? All right, clearly I love werewolves, so I put, I drew the head, the scar, and he popped up. So
ever since that, how old were you?
When I did that, I was 17. Yeah, I've been in the fandom since I was like 14.
Okay.
But I didn't like come up with my Sona until I was like already a senior in high school.
So when you were a teenager, was the fandom, was it like wait, did you know about it? Like, was it around?
Yeah, so
Like, I mean, hold on, I know it was around,
right.
but like, was it? What am I trying to say here? You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, like, okay, so the way I kind of came across it, right, was fun fact that this actually kind of happened when I was in middle school. So I was like in 7th grade. It was like social studies. There was somebody that I knew that was sitting across from me. They had like their sketchbook out, and I was kind of like, like, what are you drawing there? And she was like, oh, I'm drawing wolves. And clearly it's like, like her style was phenomenal. Like, it was really, really, like, she was so talented. I sadly forgot her name, but she was drawing like a lot of like head sketches of like, I guess it was her Sona. It was like a wolf character, but I just was like, oh, this is cool. And so I kind of just like looked up on Google about like wolves, and then I kind of came across like con videos at like MFF, Midwest Fur Fest.
Yeah.
So I kind of got exposed to like people just dressed up in suit, running around, being their character, but also like just hanging with their friends, playing video games. Like I said, like just being themselves, having fun, enjoying themselves. All that good stuff. So that's kind of how I came across the fandom. And this was like 2012. So there was definitely like a lot of like already like furry memes, or like the what's that meme? It's like the caramel Dasan or something like that. They were like doing that.
I don't remember that.
It was like yeah, it was like one of those like famous videos going around, or like I would see like blooper videos, like some group of furries decided to make this like I'm a single furry. It's supposed to be like a take on like Beyonce's like I'm a single lady.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, yeah.
Hey, if you it's a classic. Oh yeah, it is a classic, all right. But no, but it's fun. It's fun. No. I mean, look. Like I said, I mean, it is all in good fun.
Yeah.
Like when I got exposed to all that, I was like, this actually looks cool. I want to be invested in that. And at first, when I joined, it did feel like I was a little lonely, only because I thought it was just, a bunch of white people. I thought I was alone, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought I was the only Mexican involved in this. I was like, oh man, I hope I'm not. But then when I really got, locally invested in the scene, this was like 2016. I did see, like basically a lot of people of color in the furry fandom. So, and there's like a whole group dedicated to, BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So, yeah. So like, as far as I'm concerned, ever since I joined, it's always kind of been very much for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's gotten better. Like, there has been issues, obviously. There has been issues, again, going back to race, because there have been instances where it has, like certain, like not all, but there have been certain instances where there would be people being like, oh, you can't be involved because you're not.
That has to be so rare, though, for that to happen, because it's such an inviting group of people.
Yeah, it is. It's just like there have been instances of that, like, because like for me, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, because like I have also heard people kind of sugarcoat the furry fandom. Like, I'm not saying like it's all bad. Obviously that's not the intent I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
It's more so like I want to give everybody a real idea like what the furry fandom's all about. Like, yeah, we're all open, but it's like also I like to give people like an idea, like try to like basically be a good example. Like, don't go out here trying to like push away people just because they're not a certain skin color,
Right?
Like, or matter of fact, don't push anybody away if they don't have a persona. And it's gotten ridiculous. When I was in the fandom starting out and joining certain groups, there would be like certain people being like, how come you don't have your own persona? Like, why are you using like a typical like wolf picture? Like, why do you have like?
Well, what
They'll
do
be
they
like,
want?
I don't know.
I
Like
mean,
everybody's like, like those people are just like they want it to be like so furry instant. Like they want the person to be furry immediately. They want them to have like a fursuit immediately.
yeah,
Like I've seen instances like that, but like I said, it's not always that hasn't always been the case. And I have also seen like people like really put on like a really awesome meet at like a bar or at like an arcade,
yeah,
and it would be like all like people coming together having fun, getting to know each other, and as well as bringing people who like like let's say you for example, you were very much interested in the furry fandom,
yeah.
and like we would bring people in like you and be like, hey, feel free to come on out, hang with us, we're gonna have a good time, and let's just get to know each other. If you like the furry fandom, if you want to make your own sona, great, I encourage it. So
Yeah, and when we met, well, actually, no, we didn't meet at Galloping Ghost. We met before that.
yeah.
But when I did go to Galloping Ghost that last time with my friend, with Rob, we it was a lot of fun. Just like we were talking to people, and we even talked to you a little bit outside,
Yeah.
and that was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
You went from like being really lonely in the when you started out,
Yeah.
but now you're like a leader in furry culture, furry fandom, and you're hosting events yourself.
Yeah. It was definitely an interesting journey for me. Very much, like right off the bat, like at first, when, going to school, I never really had that many friends.
Mm-hmm.
It would be kind of difficult for me to make friends, or people really didn't give me a time of day
Sure.
sometimes. But when I came across the fandom, and started making connections, like this was just when I was fresh out of high school. I would go to these meets. There would be like local meets, like at like a bowling alley, for example, like Tivoli Bowling. There used to be furry meets that would happen there every 2 weeks on a Saturday. Me and my friend that I've gotten to know pretty well, I would kind of get exposed to how things would be run.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, did anybody do like a meet at the arcade yet? And I was like running through my head, and I would ask some people like, hey, do you guys do like meets at like the Galloping Ghost at all? Has anybody ever thought of doing that? And somebody literally, this was word for word what they said. They were like, no, but why don't you go ahead and do it?
Yeah.
I was like, why don't I do it then? So I said, well,
Yeah.
screw it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I've been going to Galloping Ghost Arcade since I was like a kid. That place has been open since 2010. So getting exposed to that business model and knowing the owner for such a long time, I went ahead and talked to him one day. And I was like, are you guys okay with like, having meetups at your guys' arcade? He's like, yeah, we have people that cosplay here. I don't see why, it would be a problem here for you to do something like that. So, it wasn't too hard for me to, get an okay from Doc Mack. That's his name, by the way.
We should give a shout out to Galloping Ghost.
Yeah. Shout outs to Galloping Ghost Arcade.
In Brookfield, Illinois.
Brookfield, Illinois. Address 9415 Ogden Avenue. Definitely an awesome place. $25 at the door for free play all day.
And Doc is a great guy, too.
Yeah. Doc is really amazing. He has brought like a lot of communities together.
Yeah,
especially the furry fandom. Inserting the furry fandom here.
And then afterwards, you guys go down the road to Tony's.
Yeah. Very, very amazing local place too. The people there are so nice. Yeah. They're so nice. Tony Jr. is such a cool guy.
Yeah. I actually went to high school with him.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I know him, from high school.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
So when I go visit him, it's always just like, oh, hey, man, what's going on?
You guys kind of just catch up, have a cup of coffee together or something.
Yeah. So, sometimes I'll be eating there, and he comes by, and he sits with me, and we just talk and stuff.
If you don't mind I ask, like, what do you usually get? Like, what do you like to eat there a lot?
I like to get breakfast.
Oh, me too, man. Me too.
Even
The
if it's
breakfast's good.
midnight, I like to get breakfast.
Get you some Brenner.
Yeah.
So no, like
Rob, what do you like to get? Rob comes with me too.
The country fried steak with the pancakes.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
that's good. Yeah.
do you
yeah.
ever put like any strawberries on it or like any fruit on it or anything?
No,
like that?
I'm pretty plain. I'm basic.
The pancakes are good either way.
It don't take much to please.
Mike, we're gonna take you.
Yeah, I was about to say I've never been there.
We're gonna
So
take
I've
you,
been
man.
to Galloping Ghost with you guys.
It's a
but
diner?
I've
Really
never been
awesome.
to Tony.
So Tony's is a diner, but it's like
Right.
I don't know. It's
They have
like
like breakfast and all that.
yeah,
Nice.
it's a
Is
really
it kind
good
of like
diner.
Denny's in a way? Kinda
Oh
sounds
no,
like,
it's better than.
is Denny's
It's
better
better
than
than
Denny's?
Denny's.
I'm not saying like is it? Yeah,
The reason why
Denny's all day.
I'll tell you why actually because Tony's, it tastes homemade.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And don't get me wrong, I love Denny's too, but
Yeah.
Denny's like tastes like like more commercialized.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
True.
frozen.
No, because like you said, you've been there at midnight, so that just made me
Yeah.
think of because Denny's is usually open kind of late. So.
yeah, Tony's doesn't close either.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
open.
really?
They're open 24 hours.
Oh,
they
get
recently
out.
they recently opened back 24 hours every single week because they were kind of going through like this pandemic again. They were kind of just having like Fridays and Saturdays 24 hours.
Right, and
And
then
then
okay.
yeah.
now they're back.
Now
to
they're back
full-
to-
But they're back to the
Yeah.
schedule. Nice.
Yeah, it's good people there. You know,
Okay.
we gotta go.
Yeah, no, I'm down. Like next time we go to Galloping Ghost or just go there on a
Heck
whim,
yeah.
whatever.
If I just may say, definitely support your local businesses. I think it's very imperative that we do, support each other locally, because these days it's kind of we've seen, not all, but like I've kind of seen like some local businesses struggle because bigger corporations would get more money,
Right.
and for me I would love to see more local businesses thrive.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah.
Were you gonna say something, Mike?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something like, yeah, no, I agree with that, especially like Amazon, shutting down all these stores,
Yeah.
It's just but not a plug or anything, but yeah, to add to that, my dad and I used to go to this toy store a long time ago called Me and Dad's Toys, and it was like this really cool locally owned toy store that like I just get so many toys from, and the internet practically shut it down. So
God.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
there's
that.
so many places like that. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
like going off what Mike was saying. When I was a kid, there used to be one called Toy Factory Outlet, and it actually had some cool action figures. You know that one?
No, I don't know that one,
Oh,
but
okay.
like I know what you're saying.
They just had great action figures.
Yeah.
And they're like their toy guns were like top notch,
Mhm.
and then it got shut down, of course.
Yeah.
So
It sounds like the place my dad and I used to go to.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
similar place.
Yeah.
So
Was it like did you get like any cool like toys from there? Would you say, like, what was the one toy that stood out to you like at that place?
man, this was a long time ago. Knowing me, it would probably be like superhero toys I would buy, but I do remember them having like a better selection than some of the stuff that you would see at Toys R Us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So like something like a specific item that you couldn't find at Toys R Us, it would be at that place.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay.
yeah, and it would still be like not used or anything. It would like be in a package and everything.
Man.
So I don't know how they were able to do it, because I do remember, again, I was a kid, but I do remember being told that the action figures there were cheaper than at Toys R Us, but I don't know. So.
I mean, like, it sounded like it was like a very much like a very awesome version of like a Goodwill, honestly. Like
Yeah.
a Goodwill, like the thrift store, just going to the thrift store in general is like a vibe.
Yeah,
You can get like really like cool clothes that would be like, I don't know, like $300 somewhere else, and then you find it for like $30. It's like, oh, you
right.
got the cool fit on. All right.
But to your point, yeah, we gotta support local businesses. And,
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
I mean, that's what I try to do at the convention. Is like have my paranormal convention.
Mhm.
That's why I try to get like local people and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Speaking of
you
your next one is coming up soon in June, right? The
yeah,
convention?
June 7th. Yeah,
I'm gonna be sure
June
to
7th.
June 7th.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sure to take a look, because I know last year, does it always happen in June? Just to clarify.
Usually.
Usually, okay.
Yeah.
I missed the last one, but I'm gonna be sure to try and clear up that Saturday so I can check you all out and support y'all.
Yeah,
So,
I hope you could make it. That'd be awesome.
and I'll bring some friends along too. Maybe my brother too.
In
'Cause
your
we're-
fursuits.
In my first, in our
Yes,
first
I
suits.
want to see that, man.
Yeah, I'll be sure to bring him. I'll be sure to bring him. We'll be all ready in fursuit. So
What does having a fursona, what does that mean to you? Like, how does it change you at all? Is it like an alter ego, or what does it mean to you?
So what this fursona means to me, him, basically it's another form of me. Basically it's, I put him on, nothing really changes really. It's just me as a wolf form, just under a different name. Now if we wanted to go into like specifics, his background, it's like, with the scar, for example, it represents, personal things like, like traumatic experiences.
Okay.
Basically, like me going through, traumatic experiences in my life, is what, because he's a strong werewolf. Like I see myself as a strong person. I've we've all been through a lot,
Sure.
of course, but, I'd say, having him, brings me comfort, because it's like, when I put him on, I don't feel, like, I don't feel weird putting him on. I feel comfortable putting him on,
And that's what I was gonna even ask you too. I was gonna say, is it a comfort factor?
Yeah.
But it seems like it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like it's something that you could just like be yourself in.
Yeah. Or even like if I wanted to like dance, I'll put him on too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen your videos, your dancing videos.
Yeah. So there'll be times where even if I would like go to like Witcherama, like I'll put them on, and I'll ask the DJ if it's cool for me to go up on their stage and dance. So, by the way, shout outs to Witcherama. Witcherama's a good place too.
Hosted by Erica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very awesome. Excuse me.
A lot of shout outs.
Yeah, no, I mean we have to, man. Like I said, all local, we have to recognize them,
Yeah.
But yeah, having him, since I've had this character since, not the suit, but I've had the character since 2015, since high school. So when he was made into a suit, it wasn't until like 2021.
Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to do with him is I'm trying to, get more out of my comfort zone and just try to wear him more often, even if it's like at like, certain events or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Church.
Church. I don't know about church. But they're gonna be like, no.
Probably give some weird looks.
Yeah.
The priest might stop and be like,
I'm like, all right, I guess we're doing that then.
So I don't know if you're aware, but Rob will be able to tell you better. But there's a Saint Christopher that has a dog head.
Oh, okay.
Rob has it right here.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad I wore that today.
That's very cool, man.
I want to show the camera. Can I see?
that's the other one.
Yeah, they're right
Or,
there.
yeah, they know that one. Put it back, slowed it.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Perfect focus.
Yeah. Nice.
Rob, do you want to share briefly the story of Saint Christopher and the reason for the dog head?
Well, yeah, the idea is he was a Canaanite, and he wouldn't want, or sorry,
No, yeah.
I'm blanking out. So he wanted to, at some point, he wanted to service under the most powerful being, right?
Yeah.
So first he serviced under a king, and then he found out the king feared the devil. So then he threatened, hey, tell me who the devil is. And the king's like, hey, no, if I tell you who that is, you're going to work for him. And he's like, well, if you don't tell me more about him, then I'm just going to leave you. even though he was going to leave him anyway. And so then the king tells him about, you know, the devil, and then he just leaves the king. So then he goes, he finds the devil, and he works for him for a while. And then he finds out the devil fears the cross, you know, Christ. So then he's like, well, who's God? Who's this guy? And devil's like, no, it says the same thing as the king. No, you know, if I tell you about this guy, you're going to leave me for him. And he's like, no, I won't do that, I promise.
Yeah.
So then the devil tells him, and then he ditches the devil. And that's when he, you know, goes to find God. So now there's a lot of variations of this story. It's very, you know.
Yeah, there's different versions, right?
Yeah, there's some where he starts off with a dog head. There's others where he's a giant.
Okay.
I think the giant one is the most common.
Yeah.
But a lot of Orthodox artwork depicts him with a dog head. Some people have said he doesn't actually have a dog head. That's just them confusing the word Canaanite with canine.
Sure.
But generally, usually he's just shown as like a giant.
Yeah.
But anyway, so one version he finds like 3 monks. He talks to them, and you know, they tell him basically the rundown, like, well, you can't have women. Oh, well, you can't, you know, kill people. You can't eat this. Like they tell him all these rules. And he's like, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't stop that.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, well, why don't you just help people across this river, and that's just your duty for life. So then he's like, all right, I could do that. So then he starts, you know, helping people across the river, until one day there's a little kid that wants to get crossed, and he's like, all right, I'll help you across. And then as he puts the kid on his back and goes through the water, the kid starts weighing heavier and heavier and heavier on him, and he can barely, to the point where he's like barely out of the water. And then finally he reaches the other side, and, you know, he puts the kid down, and he asks him, hey, well, you know, why'd you weigh so much? What was it? And that's when the kid reveals he was Jesus. And he tested him. He kind of tricked him in his own way. So that's just the general rundown. There's a lot of variations with this story, but that's like the general theme. Yeah. And obviously there's more where, like, sometimes he was like beautiful before, and then he prays to God to be turned ugly because the women lust over him in like a city he goes to later. And there's a lot more to it, but that's the basic rundown.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That's something new I learned today. All right.
There you go. The first furry, St. Christopher.
First furry. Yeah. There we go. Again, furries everywhere, honestly.
I'll also say they had a flag for him at Midwest Fur Fest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I think I did see that, or I think I saw a picture or something.
And Rob bought it.
Okay.
Do you have a picture of it?
Yep.
You were at Dealer's Den? Was that Dealer's Den? Oh wow. Okay.
I'll share it.
Yep.
That's it.
And that was at Dealer's Den, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dealer's Den, man, it's always cool. Like,
That's awesome.
Dealer's Den,
That's really cool.
it's like a huge artist, like,
Yeah.
paradise, basically. Did you check out Dealer's Den at all?
Yeah. I went everywhere.
Okay. What was, if you don't mind, I ask, like, what was like your favorite, like, overall experience with, like, Midwest Fur Fest? Like, what were the things that, like, really stood out to you that you said, like,
The over 18 section.
the over 18 section?
Yeah.
That dragon?
Yeah. Yes. That was an interesting section.
Big horse cocks and everything.
They had to, like, check ID to get in and everything. So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to word this, keeping in mind that I don't want to say too many bad things. Oh man.
I mean, horsecock was said, so.
Nazi and cock are both.
Oh, you can't say Nazi?
Yeah, you can't say.
Oh, then what the... All right.
I gotta bleep it out like 3 or
for
4
real?
times. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
It's
No,
okay,
you're
I didn't
good.
wanna
No,
break
it's
the
just
law,
funny.
so, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that that's something
No,
you
you're
can't
good.
say.
I didn't even think of it. My brain is mush
Why can't you say that?
tonight.
It just
That's
Yeah, it's
it's
just part of, like, just
alright.
just like you can't say the illness back in 2020.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to bleep that out too.
There's a lot of topics. You
All right,
Yeah,
we'll go ahead.
yeah.
and
I'm
move
gonna have to
on.
go
FCC
through the
rules.
episode and.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the over 18 section. By the way, I want you to keep this all in, Mike.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not big enough to be
Uncensored.
monetized yet, so it probably doesn't matter.
YouTube.
Yeah, in the over 18
YouTube
section,
is
though,
the
you
worst.
had you had oh man, this is bad. There was
What was it?
it was
Just
okay.
say it. We're already deep.
Was
in.
it okay? Was it was it
It was
like,
a fleshlight.
okay?
But the fleshlight was a werewolf.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay.
The
Was it
Beast
all,
of Bray
like-
Road.
Was it like? Oh, I feel okay. Was it? I feel like I know which. Okay, it wasn't Bad Dragon, right? It was like a different. Like,
No, it wasn't bad.
it was like all like lichen related.
yes.
I feel
It was
like I know
cryptid
which.
related.
Cryptid related.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, so for the audience, there's a go ahead, Rob. Oh yeah, we can't show this on.
Yeah.
there.
it's all like.
Well, here we'll give
Let
it
me
to
see.
you.
Let me see. Oh, I know. I knew
Yeah.
this is what you were gonna.
So for the
I'll
audience,
put this in my pocket.
in the Fur Fest, there's an over 18 section, and within the section are multiple vendors selling items for obviously for adults only, right? And one of the vendors was a cryptid themed. Well, it had cryptid themed items, and cryptids are basically animals, beasts that have not been scientifically accepted or scientifically categorized.
Mhm.
So that includes Mothman. That includes Bigfoot. He's probably the most popular cryptid.
Yeah.
And that includes Dogman or werewolves.
Werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah. In the paranormal, they tend to be known as Dogman because they take on a bipedal nature,
Yeah.
form. So this vendor had fleshlights where it's like the back of a wolf.
Oh, like a whole back. Okay, I see what you.
So you get it.
Yeah. No, like.
And then also the front of a wolf, so you put it in its mouth.
Oh,
You put yourself
you put yourself in them.
in the mouth of a
Yeah,
werewolf.
it definitely
Well,
covers.
Jack,
all
I know what you're
fantasies.
buying next time you go there.
Oh, I bought two of them.
Oh, okay. Spent some good money on that.
No, I didn't.
God.
No, but it's so they have that, and then they have a Mothman. Who wants to have sex with Mothman?
You'll be surprised in the
Who
fandom.
wouldn't?
You'll be
Rob
surprised.
said who wouldn't.
Oh, that was
Oh.
like,
No, that was me.
Oh, that was you?
I
Yeah.
thought that.
I usually say what he's thinking.
Well, what about Bigfoot?
I want the foot.
I want the
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there is
Unless the foot means something else, But I guess.
there was what do you call them? Graphic novels
Yeah.
that were like over 18 graphic novels,
Right.
and so yeah, there was like one of them was like a humanoid kangaroo
Oh, okay.
having sex with like what seemed to be a much younger kangaroo,
Oh my god.
and there was a whole lot of that type of.
That got really
Stuff.
graphic.
It's interesting, I'm
Yeah,
not,
it is.
it's that's what
Watch
it's,
the wrong Kangaroo Jack movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, no, this is not Kangaroo Jack.
All right, so with sexuality is the furry fandom for you?
Mhm.
Is there any sex or sexuality to it for you personally?
Well, I mean, know that I'm pansexual and all. I'm not really like all like just willy nilly about that kind of stuff,
Okay.
If it were to come to like sex, I'd have to get to know the person.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'd say I'm like more like demi-ish,
Sure.
demi-pan. I don't know if that's even a term, but
Well, yeah, I think demisexual is when you're. There's people out there that are gonna kill me. Isn't it similar to omnisexual, where you're just interested in anything? You're open sexually to anything or any type of being,
so
even non-human.
so okay, so that's interesting that you brought those. So, I mean,
Young Jamie, can you look up demisexual
Google
for
search.
us?
I mean, well, as far as I know, like demisexual means like you want to do sex, but it's like you basically you have to know the person first. Like you all have to like, hang out, get to
Okay.
know each other and like build a trust, basically.
Did you mean omnisexual or demisexual?
Demisexual.
Oh, demi. Okay. I think. Well, he just said
Yeah.
what
Oh,
demisexual
so it's
is.
Basically, like getting
Yeah.
to know the person.
Got it. Yeah.
Trust is built.
To develop those feelings for that
Yeah.
person, then to
Well, but
develop sexual
okay, but wouldn't
attraction.
that be sapiosexual when you like?
Sapiosexual.
Yeah, that's when you're into somebody intellectually, and
Mhm.
that's how you get sexual gratification from them because there's this intellectual component to it.
That I'm not.
There's too many terms.
Yeah.
You're totally forgiven for not knowing because it's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, though, like I think it really is important and imperative to do research too. Like for me, like I just make sure to like know what's what. For me though, it's just for me, like I identify as a pansexual,
Yeah.
but also have like demi involved because, again, like I'm not just gonna go ahead and hook up with anybody.
Sure.
I know like some people in the fandom, like no judgment, as long as y'all are safe,
Yeah.
I'd say go ahead. It's just
Yeah.
like like for me personally, preferences, like I like to get to know the person.
Yeah. I have no preferences. I'll hook up with any. I don't care.
Hey, all right. Hey.
Safety or no safety.
Same thing.
Preferably no safety.
All right.
But that's just me. No, I'm kidding. I do want to look up, honestly. I actually do want to look up. Yeah, I just want to kind of know the difference between demisexual, pansexual, and omnisexual, if there is a difference.
Well, isn't pan? Let me think, because bisexual. Well, I guess this episode's already, because I'm not sure you can say this either, but like bisexual is male, female. What? Pansexual
So
is like you
pan-
don't care.
So pansexual means you're attracted to men and women, but also trans men. and
Okay,
women.
that's what I thought.
That's-
okay.
Yeah.
It's more.
So it's like male, female, and then trans.
Yeah, trans. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have it pulled up?
Yeah. So between omnisexual and pansexual.
Yeah.
So while often interchangeably, omnisexual and pansexual describe attraction to all genders, but pansexuals are generally considered gender blind, while omnisexuals acknowledge gender and may have preferences, though it doesn't necessarily mean they are limited to certain genders. And then there's a more detailed breakdown. Do you want me to read that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, yeah. And this is just going off to like the Google AI thing, which is pretty accurate to me.
Sure.
Here's a more detailed breakdown. Pansexual. Attracted to people regardless of their gender identity, with some pansexual individuals describing themselves as gender blind and prioritizing personality or presentation over gender. Omnisexual. Attraction to people of all genders, but with an awareness and consideration of gender potentially leading to preferences or different types of attraction towards different genders.
Okay. Now, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that some of them like some of the terms kind of blend in with each other?
I'd say they all have their own
Okay.
way of going about it. Because like I said, like with me being pansexual, it's like the definition states it's like, I don't care if you're a man or a woman
Mhm.
or a trans man or a woman, as long as you have like, a solid heart. Like you're not like some like jerk. Like I don't care
Yeah.
about like what you look like. You could be, good looking or not looking. I don't care. Like as long as you're a good-hearted person, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are people in the fandom that they are sexually attracted to the persona.
yeah.
Are you attracted to the persona? Do the anthropomorphic animals kind of turn you on?
Yeah, I mean, they can, but like, okay, so it's funny that you brought that up because for me, again, it also still stems to as long as you're a good person, that's all
Yeah.
I care about. Like, because there have been some people who kind of just focus on this and all they care about is this, and it can
Sure.
get really weird. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's like, yeah, like for me, it's like, yes, yes, but like, if we're talking about people, like,
Yeah.
As long as you have a good heart, that's all I care
What
about.
animals? What animals do it for you?
Werewolves.
Werewolves?
Yeah. Werewolves, honestly, yeah. I'm being 100% real, yeah.
What about Bugs Bunny?
Nah. Nah, I can't, man.
There's that scene in Wayne's World
Uh-huh.
where Garth
Oh my god.
where Garth asks, "Have you ever?" Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this line, but it's basically something like, "Do you ever like get turned on when Bugs Bunny puts on lipstick?" And then Wayne goes, "No," and then Garth goes, "Yeah, me neither."
I mean, okay, but if we're okay,
Yeah, so it goes like, do you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he put on a dress and played a girl bunny?
Oh,
And
okay.
like that laugh that Mike Myers did was real.
Yeah,
Like, that was a real
I
reaction.
heard that
which is
wasn't in the
awesome.
script.
Yeah.
now I
That's
will
weird.
say, since we're talking about Looney Tunes, I honestly find attraction in Foghorn Leghorn,
Oh, which one is that?
the chicken,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, or like, I mean, Taz. I'd say I'm attracted to Taz and Lola Bunny from Space Jam.
Yeah. Well,
That was my first.
okay.
crush.
Lola Bunny. We're all attracted to Lola Bunny.
Okay.
Come on.
That was
Okay,
my
that's
first
the
crush as a
one-
kid.
That's the one I can also say. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first crush as a kid. So
I think that was Rob too.
Yeah.
That was I think that was all of our sexual awakenings.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Lola
For
Bunny.
like, oh, I think I'm
Mine was a
furry.
ton of Disney, not like anthropomorphic. I butchered that word. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Disney cartoon characters. But
Oh,
they were
just the
animals.
human.
Yeah, just
Disney?
like the humans.
Oh, that's
yeah.
boring.
I
Mike.
know.
Come on.
I know.
We're gonna bring up the
You-
Robin Hood one.
The Robin Hood one.
Remember the Disney
Oh,
Robin Hood?
Disney
Yeah.
I do
Robin,
remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen that movie.
It's
Oh, you
actually
haven't
good.
seen
No, I
it?
haven't seen that one.
Oh, I don't think I have either, but
Yeah.
I know of
But
it.
Lola Bunny though.
Yeah.
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 She's
Lola
Lola
Bunny.
Bunny.
He's nice.
That's what I should have on the wall.
There's
is Lola Bunny.
right there.
Yeah.
She's just like doing the pose. It's all suggestive.
Editing this, I'm just gonna put like a thing of her on the wall there.
So the Tasmanian.
Yeah.
Tasmanian.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like when he turns into a tornado, man, it gets really.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it really do it for you?
Yeah. It gets extreme.
Okay, what about an actual Tasmanian devil?
Oh no.
So it has to be anthropomorphic.
Yeah,
correct?
no, because okay, so now I want to specify with that. Like, it can't be real, because that. Unfortunately, again, like, when people assume that, people are attracted to actual animals,
Yeah.
and that's where I go back to the weird thing, because it's like, if you're like a zoophile, it's like,
Yeah.
you need help, man. You
Right.
need help.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, people have like meshed that to the furry fandom,
Hmm.
and it's like, I'd say that's not fair, because it's like, if you see somebody that, has done like horrible things to an animal, don't let them in your space.
Yeah. It's
Like-
the fantasy. It's the
yeah,
yeah.
like-
It's go ahead.
like I say, there's nothing wrong with having sexual fantasies as far as like a fictional character, but if it's like a real animal
Yeah.
like that, I don't know, man, like that, like, it's just, I just think that is something that I want to go ahead and clarify. Like, the furry fandom's not all like into animals,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
actual animals.
Yeah.
So like yeah, no, like,
It-
you're not gonna catch me like doing any of that. So
It's like being attracted to like a woman wearing a schoolgirl uniform, but you're not attracted to schoolgirls, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I
mean,
like
I mean, right?
said- like I said, I mean, it's just like,
I'm looking at Mike here.
it's just like, like
I mean,
said,
that
like,
one's a little complicated.
yeah.
No, it's not complicated. It's hot when you see a woman dressed in
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're not attracted to
Right.
a schoolgirl.
No.
But the woman is hot in that kind
It's
of uniform.
that schoolgirl, but it's
It's
like
the
it's
fantasy.
a concept of dressing up as like a schoolgirl. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, she's attractive, but I think if Okay.
It's-
Let's just continue.
Lucifer is judging all of you right now.
Like,
No,
okay, I'll just say this. Like, okay, so again, you can have your fantasies.
Right.
Like, I'm all for that, right? It's just I don't condone sexual acts on actual animals. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's 100% wrong. Like, I don't condone that, especially, yeah, like that's wrong. Like, and an animal can't consent. You know? So that's what I have to say. But other than that, yeah, like, I mean, I do have, you know, fantasies of like my character. You know, like I imagine like my character like is in front of me and he's like growling and snarling at me and like saying like, "Oh, who's gonna be a good boy?"
Yeah.
Like something like
yeah,
that.
I'm getting turned on right now. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just growling in your ear and like licking your face or something like that. Like that. That's something that I always, you know, fantasize about. Like
Yeah, there's a
something like
line between, you know, the fantasy and you know, reality, right?
that. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't mix those.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't. Seriously.
Because those are two very, very different worlds.
Yeah, they are. But it's like, now I will say, like, there are like people who like, you know, put their head on, and they'll do like, you know, like OnlyFans, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. Like, hey, you're being your character, and you got like, you know, I've seen like, you know, like they're like in their BDSM gear or something like that, but they're also like in their suit, so
Yeah.
they be called like mersuits. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
Like mersuits. It's like, you know, doing lewd acts basically.
Yeah.
So,
But for somebody who is not part of the fandom
mhm.
to to say like, oh, well, if they're wearing fursuits, maybe they're into animals. I understand that that's not a fair ideology to have. But you could see how somebody from the outside could conflate the two.
Well, yeah, but you know,
But they should be educated.
yeah,
You know.
because I know for a fact you know you wouldn't be the type to be all like assuming that's the case. I will say though, it's like, you know, I have heard people kind of just clump that
Yeah.
together immediately, and it's like that's really an unfair assumption, and that's kind of like that's really kind of being discriminatory too, because it's like, why are you gonna, you know, go ahead and assume I wear a wolf character and I'm into, you know, screwing an actual wolf? It's like that's
Yeah.
not, that makes no sense,
Yeah.
you know. And you know, whenever, you know, I've come across, you know, people like that, I would, you know, I tell them, man, don't, you know, look up the actual furry fandom, man. You know, there are actual, you know, good-hearted people out there who, you know, have fun. They just make art, you know. They're just like your average person, like you see at like, you know, a comic convention having fun, or like, you know, going to anime convention and having fun, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that, but I could also see how other people wouldn't be so aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're not familiar with that world.
yeah,
And that's why it's probably good that furry fandom has grown, because when it becomes, you know, more commonplace, people will understand what it's really about and what's going on.
yeah. Like, I mean, if I have anything to say, it's like, if you're somebody that's like genuinely interested, if it's not for you, by all means, it doesn't have to, you know, nobody's
Right.
telling you go to the furry fandom or else, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but for me, if you're genuinely interested, I'd say, you know, look up the history of the furry fandom, you know, see what it's all about, go to a con, and I promise you that majority of the time it's not going to be, you know, like you're going to be coming across people that are creeps. But if you do come across those creeps, call the police.
Right.
Call the police immediately. Like, they have already, like, if they have like a case on them, if you see their face, call the police, because it's like we don't need those people who have actually done horrible stuff like that to be in our spaces.
Yeah.
So but like overall though, like I've been in the fandom since 2012, and I can say that, you know, I've come across like really genuinely kind-hearted people.
Oh, the vast majority are kind-hearted people.
Yeah.
You know,
and throughout that time too, I've had friends in high school who they weren't necessarily a furry. They ended up being a furry like a year later. I had a friend in high school who is actually in the furry fandom now. So,
oh, nice.
I kind of turned them into a furry, even though I didn't try. But it just happened basically. So.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there is. When I was there at the Midwest FurCon, just everybody was just like really nice and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just it was a good time too. So if you're interested, you should check that out as well.
Yeah, Midwest Fur Fest. They always happen around winter, like at the end of the year.
And I actually told you that you should have your own.
Oh, like my own furry kit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm,
like a poor man's version.
Poor man's version. Yeah, I mean, you definitely have run your own cons yourself for a bit now. I mean, I wouldn't mind kind of getting an idea of how to do it. Like, I mean, I'd like to get like a rundown on how to run a con myself.
Yeah, and I'll definitely help you out with that. And I think the reasoning would be the Midwest Fur Con it's a great con, right? And it's really big, but I could see how some people would be intimidated by it, and everything from prices to prices with entrance, prices on things that are sold there. Like if somebody had one where it's more like localized, I think it'll attract even more people.
Yeah, like somewhere like different, like in a different part of Illinois. Or I mean, I keep hearing like, well, I would, if I were to do it, like I'd have to have a lot of money. It takes a lot of money, or like resources too. Like I've heard people like say like Midwest Fur Fest should move to like you ever been to the McCormick place?
Yeah.
I've heard people say move to the McCormick place, but it's like, oh, if only. It's just it would be a little complicated, only because like you got people coming from different parts of the regions, and it's already going to cost like $80-$90 for entrance,
right.
And McCormick place, like they charge like $50 or more.
Yeah.
So it's like it would be like too expensive.
Well, not there. You don't want to start out.
Yeah, let's start up there.
You know?
I mean, like if anything, like I mean, I would, if it were me, like starting like a really small con, it would be like at like some like with a good example like Witcherama, they picked like a very small venue.
Yeah.
Like the Blue Island Beer Company.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice little venue. So I would probably start like at like a bar or something.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things with that because you said that to start out you would need a lot of money. Well, yes and no. I mean, you need some money, but like you don't need a lot to start out. If you're, and we'll talk about it later, but if you have the right location and the right resources, you could actually save yourself a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could start out with some that were a little bit smaller. The first two cons I had was at a smaller venue, but then after the second one, I needed a bigger space.
Okay.
So, but we'll talk about that later. But I think you really are a leader in this field, and I think that it'd be a great idea if you do something like that.
Well, I definitely appreciate that advice, and I'm definitely gonna continue to expand on it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's just like right now at this moment in time, I think that would have to wait only because like right now I'm trying to, well, not trying. I am basically, focused on like balancing myself. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to basically put myself out there more because I do stream myself. I'm trying to run my own kind of business.
Yeah.
Like just start up from the ground up. And I know you probably have the advice for that too, which we can talk about that afterwards.
Sure.
But yeah, like basically like I think it would be really a good idea at some point in my life to do that too, because I do love to give back to the community.
Yeah.
I like to bring the community together, and again, I think it's important that we do that because we're in a world right now where it's just like full of like darkness, honestly, right now. And I don't like seeing a lot of darkness. I think we need more light.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important that we need more light because, you know, there's like, you know, some people that want to try and like, you know, basically tell you not to be yourself. And I think, you know, you shouldn't listen to people who basically tell you not to be yourself. I think, if anything, you should always be yourself, love yourself, and just stick around people who have your best interest. So.
Well, speaking of that, you know, furry fandom is always, oftentimes, I should say, associated with kinks and sexuality, but there is another side, and you briefly talked about before that other side, spirituality.
Yeah.
How do you incorporate the fandom into your spirituality?
Can you?
You were saying before how the way I'm really gonna butcher what you said before because it was a while back ago, but like there's almost a spiritual component to your persona.
Yeah.
There is he's like a guardian to you.
Yeah. So I want to like, you know, like try to give like an idea and not get too specific with it necessarily.
Yeah.
But basically like he, you know, is some being that I see like through my eyes that I see as like somebody or something that is real enough to me. Like there'll be times where, you know, he, you know, has helped me through, you know, really, really bad times. Like I've been like really depressed and he'll just be there, you know, whether I pull him out, put him on or not.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like his aura helps me. It helps, you know, keep me in good standing.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, and to basically remind myself that, you know, things are not gonna be always, you know, bad or, you know, whatnot. Like you know, the storm is gonna pass over basically. You know, he's there to basically reassure me that things are gonna be okay. So that's basically why I kind of put spirituality into it, is because, you know, he's something that's very close to me. Like he's close to home for me. Always has been, you know, honestly ever since I was little. So, yeah, but to put it lightly, basically.
So you know, some of us, we when we're feeling low, you know, we have conversations with God or with angels, and we don't know if there really is a God or angels, but we do it anyway just to make ourselves feel better. Is that what you do with Red?
Yeah. Like if I, you know, want to vent, I'll be like, you know, drawing out like my character, like him, and like, you know, just like him being goofy or something or whatnot. Or I don't know if y'all remember this program. It's did y'all ever own like a DSi, like a Nintendo DSi at all?
Mike did.
Okay, so you probably know, but
I own the lights.
okay.
Yeah, I have a 3DS now, but I had a light.
So basically, I'm pretty sure you know where I'm gonna go with this. There's this program called Footnote Hatna, or Footnote Studio, I mean, and it's a program where you can animate any scenario you want, or if you're not really into like drawing like that, I've seen like a lot of stick figure animations, but basically, you know, for me, it's if I really wanted to, I can animate him and basically bring him to life in a sense. So
Okay.
yeah, so
And it's cathartic for you. It's it makes you just feel better.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Because again, it's like he is basically just another version of me, honestly.
He's an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
But a little bit different, a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more confidence. You know, not afraid to be themselves. You know, doesn't care what anybody says about, like, you know, if they're like, you know, being judgmental, he's not gonna let it get to them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I'm doing my part to change as a person, you know, better myself to, you know, handle situations, you know, like be more you know, like just be more confident, you know, not afraid to be myself, you know, because I know, like, you know, as people, sometimes we kind of like struggle to be ourselves sometimes because we're like afraid to like get, you know, judged all the time
Right.
or so on and so forth. But it's like, if you know who you are, if you know your own truth, I think that's what's important. It's like, you know your own self-worth. If you know that, it's like, why do you care if somebody, you know, calls you a name?
Mhm.
Why do you care if somebody, you know, says something about you? You know, like, they're just words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, and what it seems like is like a lot of the fandom is, it seems like at the end of the day it's about acceptance.
Yeah.
You know, and acceptance into a community, but also just acceptance within yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the whole reason for having a fursona, is you're trying to get to a part of yourself that's not so obvious.
Yeah.
Is that correct, or?
Yeah. No, I think I think you said it best. Yeah. I mean, it's like you basically, you know, like, you basically be who you want to be. You know, there's no limits, you know, like, you don't, you know, have to like be, you don't have to be like, you know, like a character that we all know. Like, you don't have to be like Superman. Like, it's real. I think it's cooler to be like your own character. Like, the fact that you can create your own thing is like
Something
amazing.
original.
Yeah. Being original, I think, is like, again, it falls into being yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'd say, like, you know, there's no reason to like try to be like somebody else, because the person that you see, they have their own, that's them, you know. Don't try to copy like
Mhm.
the other person, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you can have inspiration, but it's like, be original, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I think Gamera would be my fursona.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This would be. I would want the back. The
Wouldn't
back
that be
plate.
the what's the word for it? It wouldn't be a fursona then. It'd be like a rep something.
No, it'd still be a fursona.
Oh, you're talking
A
about
scaly.
scaly.
A
Scaly,
Talking about
scaly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Scalies, they still fall in the
Oh
fandom.
wait, what's scaly? Oh
So
man.
basically-
Scaly is
no.
when you have like a
It's when it's
kind
like
of a reptile
Yeah.
persona,
Yeah, it's like,
I-
if you have a cold, you know,
No.
cold-blooded, you know,
because
character, it still,
Scalies.
yeah,
it
because
still
you know,
falls in the furry fandom.
so lizards have scales, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what they
that's
call it.
interesting.
Like, you know, dragons.
I thought it
Yeah,
would
like
all
that.
been it was all lumped into furry.
It
but
is.
Yeah,
That's
it
just
is.
like-
It's just like a
It's a like a
it's
sub.
spin-off.
Yeah, it's a spin-off, basically. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a spin-off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like, you know, same thing with like, I mean,
Are there other ones?
I'm sure, you know, yeah, kind of like, you know, with, because like with him, like, yeah, sure, he'd be considered like in the furry fandom, but a werewolf it's in the category of like monsters.
Right.
So, but monsters like him, you'll still see that in the furry fandom.
You know what I don't see? I don't see insect ones.
Believe it or not, there are
Rob said that
insect
he has. Yeah.
there actually are. There's somebody by the name of Uncle Kage. His sona is like a cockroach. Yeah. So
Okay.
there's bees, there's wasps.
Yeah.
I've yet to see like,
A maggot.
yeah, honestly, I mean there is somebody that I saw in the fandom wear a fly, like they had like a fly sona.
Mm.
So in the furry fandom, bug-themed personas, often called insectasonas
Insect.
or
Insectas-
buggies, are common, though there isn't a single definitive term. What's that?
I like buggies.
Yeah,
Buggies.
buggies is good.
Actually, I was gonna say I
Buggies
like
rolls off the tongue really well.
insectasonas.
So there's insectasona, buggies, other
Insectasona.
terms,
Okay, so since we laid out
anthropods
all
or
the things,
arthros.
since we laid out all the things,
Yeah.
like which one would you like doing the most? Like you said, I know you said bear, but like, would that be the one that you pick, or would you be like an insect, or like which one would you?
Doing like
Yeah, like-
sexually.
No.
Oh,
like,
oh.
not sexually. I mean, if you want, just sure. But
No. Like, oh, so like, which one would I like to be?
Yeah.
Oh,
just like a
okay.
Sona. It's just a Sona.
Oh gosh.
And sexually, I'm asking.
Well, I will say I've also heard exoskeleton.
Oh,
I don't know how
exoskeleton.
common that
Oh
one
yeah,
is
for
insects.
okay,
The
yeah.
exoskeleton.
Okay. I thought you were gonna be like xenomorphs or something. Like
Oh,
that.
that'd be
Xenomorphs
mine.
are in the fandom too.
That'd be
actually.
mine.
Oh, xenomorph.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or
the Predator.
Can I be an alien?
Yeah.
A gray alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, what are
Yeah,
aliens called?
they're in the
furry fan.
They're in the fandom too.
I want to be a plant.
A plant.
Yeah, I want to be a fern.
A fern.
Yeah, that's
What
fine.
would the fern's name be?
A ferny.
Fernie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's got pull out a ref sheet. It's Fernie.
So in the furry fandom, this is the last one. Aliens, especially those with an anthropomorphic or furry-like appearance, are often referred to as protogens, primogens, or simply as alien species.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
protogens.
my gosh, it's like
What's a
runs.
protogen?
So basically,
Protogen.
okay.
I like that. That's a cool name.
So think of like a furry dragon, but their face is like robotic.
Oh.
Yeah, like their whole face is like robotic. The rest of them is like,
That's so specific.
yeah, it's. Personally, I think that's pretty cool. Like just have half robotic, like
Yeah.
animatronic kind of thing. It's kind of cool.
What were you
There
gonna
are.
say? Oh, sorry, I thought you were gonna say something.
Yeah, like
That's interesting.
yeah, they.
You know, it reminds me of Digimon.
Oh,
Do you remember
Digimon does kind of. Well, there are again like the furry fandom is so big. Like there are like people who have Pokesonas
Pokesona?
or Digisonas.
Yeah.
So it goes that far. Like,
Oh,
you got
I want to be
Pokemon, you got-
Agumon.
You want to be
Yeah, Agumon is
okay.
he's a little like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And he
From-
spits fire. Yeah.
that's pretty badass. Okay.
But I brought up Digimon because there's I don't know how I remember this. Metal Greymon, it was a giant T-Rex, but his like face and chest was like robotic.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. I mean, definitely. I mean, I'd say definitely go for it if you want to do that too.
Yeah.
I could point you in the direction of some fursuit makers. That
But
are
I'm
local.
gonna stick with the fern.
The fern.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be mine.
The fern.
Fern.
Be like, would it be like tall or would it be like open?
Well, I'm not tall, so I'd be like a very sad fern. Yeah. It's
Oh, like droopy sad or
just depressed.
depressed.
Just depressed.
oh
Just-
man.
Hey, let's I could talk to you for like another couple hours because I'm learning so much, and I love learning about this stuff specifically. It's just really it's just such an interesting field, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fandom, I should say. It's such an interesting fandom because there's so many different avenues you could go down.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whether it's just fun, or kinks, or spirituality,
Yeah.
or and then even within those, there's so many different layers to it, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I'm gonna have to have you come back again at some points.
Yeah. I'd be happy to give you a whole rundown of the fandom.
Yeah. No, I think we touched on a lot already today, and so I really appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug anything?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I want to thank you and your crew for bringing me out here.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
It's a pleasure to speak with all of y'all. So where you can find me, I'm mostly on Blue Sky. If you look up Werewolfdudez, not with an S but a Z at the end, and then Blue Sky Social, you can find me there. I'm a streamer, dance a lot. I'm an artist as well. And then, of course, we talked about, my fur meets at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. You can find that on Blue Sky as well at furmeets@gga.blueskysocial. We do those every month on the third Saturday of each month
Okay.
from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Galloping Ghost Arcade.
And then you go to Tony's.
Yeah, and then we go to Tony's,
Yeah.
which is like around like 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Very, very, very good vibe all around. Tony and them, really good people.
Yeah.
And
You have a Discord too, don't you?
yeah, like for me with like my socials, like you can find that on my link tree. Like if you just look up my Blue Sky, like Werewolfdudez, Blue Sky, you'll find my link tree to all my stuff. And same thing with the Fur Meets. We also got a link tree to all my socials there.
Okay.
So.
You're on Facebook. You're on Discord.
Yeah.
You're on Blue Sky.
And Instagram.
Instagram.
I used to be on Twitter, but I kind of just deleted my social there. But yeah, the majority of them is like, yeah, like you'll find all of it on my link tree.
Okay. Do you have a YouTube channel or?
Yeah, I do. It is the same handle, Werewolfdudez.
Okay. With the Z at the end, not an
yeah,
S.
with the Z, not an S.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, this was great, and I learned a lot, and I hope to have you back.
Yeah, I hope to come back and chat more. So.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Yeah.